Hi everybody, Empress Justice here. If you'd like to check out daily readings, you can check them out on Twitter. Actually, they're more reliable on Twitter. You can also check them out on Instagram. You can check them out on Facebook as well. Now, this is the thing about the daily readings. What I've been noticing is that increasingly there have been days missing from my Empress Justice Tarot site. I don't know if it's because I've been hacked. I mean, I do get hacked, but it seems unlikely. And it seems more likely that because I've been suffering with Havana syndrome and that I was repeatedly attacked in my head recently, that it's made me forgetful and disoriented and distracted and all the rest of it. So I'd like to apologize for that. It is way more reliable to go on my Twitter than it is to go on my Instagram or Facebook. But I will endeavor to continue to provide you with daily readings on Instagram and Facebook as well. So that's not a disclaimer, but that's like a notice about the daily readings that have been coming up. I'm not going to advertise Fabian Deacon vocals anymore unless I actually put new stuff up. So check it out. Don't check it out. Daily readings, do check them out because they're regular. So yeah, update on me. Well, you remember I told you about that, that little black girl who lived like across from me. I don't think it's the same girl, actually. I think it's a different one. But I was going to the co-op and the little girl walked forward towards her parent or what have you. And she told her father or uncle or whoever, that's the woman that they're all talking about. So, yeah, so much for defending other black people around here. If they really want to trust the word of a bunch of children who have used the N-word liberally and been harassing somebody for months and months on end and been stalking them and been making false reports and shit, if that's what they want to do, they want to gossip on behalf of people like that, I can't help them. And I know she's only a kid, but I go through enough in my life. I'm not trying to be nobody's hero. So if that's what you want to do, you want to gossip about me, I can't help you. Can't help you. And I especially can't help the adults because, I mean, at least with the kids, they're not really to blame, right? Because they're kids. But for the adults to go around spreading around that shit, if you want to aid and abet coercive murder, if you want to aid and abet, like, I call it coercive murder because, you're adding the electronic torture to the psychological torture. I call it coercive murder, but the truth of the matter is, if you really want to boil it down, because the intention of these people are not to fucking murder me, that is not their intention at all, right? That is not their fucking intention. I can tell you that right now, for nothing. That is not their fucking intention. What their intention is to drive me crazy enough to get me out of the house. Knowing what that mental health leads to, that's grievous bodily harm, like at the very least, right? So you wanna deliberately send someone crazy. You want to deliberately cause serious health implications to somebody. And you want to, knowing what it leads to, knowing that it leads to forced medications, knowing that it leads to kidnapping. So you basically want to enhance somebody's trauma so that you don't have any guilt to swallow. That is what their intention is. Their intention is not to fucking kill me because they don't know. They, like, a lot of the stalkers that have been, like, enlisted to come after me, they don't know the true depths of what's going on. So the fucking intentions of these people are not to fucking know. Like, it's not that deep with them. It's just that they have specific agendas and aims, right? And when they get other people involved in those particular aims and objectives, then the people that they've got involved are a part of it. And if they're literally gossiping about somebody that they think is severely mentally ill, they know that's not going to make that person better. So there's only so much that I can blame the family for that behavior as well. Because the thing is, if the family going around spreading rumors about me and trying to make me out to be more mentally ill than I actually am, and basically trying to diminish everything that I'm saying. If they're going around doing that and other people choose to join in and choose to gossip right along with them, then it's out of the family's hands. And now, like, the other people have chosen to aid and abet in that as well. And if they honestly think that I'm more mentally ill than I am, and they turn that into gossip for the rat rather than thinking to themselves, we should probably help this person, then you are literally causing the trauma of another person just so that you can feel better about yourself. So you're aiding and abetting in a crime of your own. You're aiding and abetting in hate crimes of your own. So I can't keep blaming that family if other people want to keep talking. Now, it's the family that started it. But if other people want to continue it, that's on them. It's not on anybody else. You understand what I'm saying? Just because these people tell you that this person's this, that, and the third, you don't have to join in with it. You could have asked questions. You could have said, well, you know, what part did you play in it? Because if a person comes to you and all they talk about is what the other person's done wrong, and they don't talk about what they done wrong, that's a red flag right there. And that's when you're supposed to ask questions. But most people don't. They just follow along with the gossip. Like, you know, I'm no different than anyone else, but I've really learned to say to myself, when somebody comes to me and says to me, well, this person did this person did this, I'm sitting there and I'm listening, but then I'm thinking, I'm not hearing what you've done though. I'm not hearing what you've done. I'm not hearing the part that you played. I'm not hearing any of that. All I'm hearing is this person did this, and this. That's all I'm hearing. So if people are hearing that and they choose to just jump on the bandwagon of the other person, then that person has just made themselves complicit readily. There is no excuse. So whilst the family started those rumors and started that shit, if other people are continuing on with it, then there's only so much blame I can put on the family, because everybody's responsible for their own actions. Even I'm responsible for my own actions. I get that it's not my fault, but there are certain things that I did not have to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? But everybody just needs to take responsibility for their shit. And not to mention the fact that before that family even came along, people were still spreading rumors about me. They were still calling me crazy and all that type of shit. I was literally screaming in pain, and they threatened to call the police on me. That's how ridiculous these people are. So no, that was before that family even reached here. So I can't keep blaming them like for stuff that other people do. Sure, they're vile, but I can't keep blaming them for what the rest of the village chooses to do. If the rest of the village chooses to get involved and to spread that same shit around, if they choose to do that, that is entirely on them. That is not on the family. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not entirely on the family. And I get it. I get it. They've done a lot of wicked shit. They have done a lot of wicked shit. And in some cases, they continue to do wicked shit and try to feel sorry for themselves about it. But no, I can't keep putting all the blame on their door. I can't. I cannot and will not. I can't keep blaming them. They're vile, but I can't keep blaming them. It's not fair. Oh, yeah. I'm getting these knots out my back, man. Other than that, things have been actually relatively calm. And even with everything that I'm talking about, the taunts have calmed down a lot. And I mean a lot. They've calmed down a lot. So in place of like direct taunts and stuff like that, there's just little gaslighting here and there, you know, nothing really to write home about. The abuse of the gang stalking is in the apology stages. So there's nothing really to sort of, you know, there's nothing really to sort of report, because like in my case, it's my time for the quieter period. I know that for a lot of targets, the electronic weaponry has escalated. The fucking like psychological warfare has escalated. I know that for a lot of targeted individuals, especially in America, the gang stalking and the targeting has severely escalated. And I get that. But I think the way that the targeting works is that there are certain people who are on a rota. It's like maybe 1 month, you know, for one person, it's supposed to reach percent. With me, it used to be a bit more fixed than that, but now I think they just time it around my period. They just time the worst of the abuse around my period, both electronic torture and like psychological torture. They just time it around my period now. I mean, sure. I mean, if that's what they want to do, but you know, it used to be a bit more fixed, and I think in certain cases it is a bit more fixed, but I honestly think that TIs are on a rota depending on who they are and who they're targeted by. I honestly think that they're on a rota, and I think that's why some TIs like me, we've had our abuse die down, and then there are other TIs who have had their abuse elevated. I really feel that it's because we're on a rotary system, you know? Some people get it worse in summer, other people get it worse. I think it's dependent on the season, because a TI told me that it was dependent on the season, and they could have been lying, but I think there's some truth to that. I think some people get it worse during the spring. Some people get it worse during the winter. I know that's the case for me. Some people get it worse during the summer. Some people get it worse during the autumn. So I feel like depending on when the TIs were selected to be an unlawful experimentee and trafficking victim, it can be, I think the timing of the abuse cycle can differ in accordance with the TI. I haven't noticed anything over here escalating. In fact, it seems to be de-escalating. And the only time when I seem to get like really bad, you know, really bad like psychological triggers or what have you is when I'm doing something positive. But even then, I'm finding ways around that. So it's kind of de-escalated over here for the time being. So I think it's a rotary system when it comes to TIs. And I think that's why some of you are experiencing like really bad targeting. And I think that's the reason behind that. When it comes to my overall life in general, I'm find myself in a rather unique position. The thing about my life in general, it's that it's a double-edged sword. I am actually doing better health-wise. The sun is out. You know, I live in Brighton. The sun is out. Like, you know, you do the math. I live in a fucking farming village. I don't live in the city, so there's not so much radiation. There's not so much bullshit. And because of where I'm sleeping, there's not so much waste space, right? So my health is getting better. My health is improving all the time. And the odd thing is that if my life were to be worse, and if my life were to be more miserable, and I was to be targeted more, and I was to suffer more, I'm gonna be very, very cynical and talk plainly. I'm gonna speak plainly in terms of career now. I'm trying to get Empress Justice Tarot to be more than a hobby. I'm slowly working at it. But what I notice is that the only time I really get an audience, and this is not just with TRs, this is with anybody. The only time when I really get an audience is when I'm in pain. Check out the views when it comes to the Saturn Chronicles, because with the Saturn Chronicles, I I had that back injury, but I was also tortured at the same time that I was getting my period. So all these three ducks were in a row, and it left me laid out for about 2 weeks. Check the views when I'm getting my toothache, when I'm moving, when I'm going through all kinds of different bullshit. Like, check out the views on that, and then check out the views when something good is happening to me. And you'll see what I'm talking about. If I'm facing homelessness, my views go up. The torture is really bad, my views go up. When I'm going through any kind of pain, if I'm fighting and losing, that's when my views go up. My views don't go up when I'm succeeding at life, and when I'm doing well, and when I'm getting healthy, and when I'm, I don't get the views when I'm healthy and when I'm doing well. I get the views when I'm suffering. And because my suffering has decreased, my viewership has decreased. Now, don't get it twisted. I've got non-TIs coming onto my page and kind of like, and celebrating me. But the thing is, in comparison to the TI audience that I get when I'm actually suffering is minimal. And that's a problem. That's a real problem for me. That is a real problem. It means that if I get successful enough and a honey trap comes along or a handler comes along, then I might be in trouble. Because it's happened before. There are people, especially women, who become really self-sufficient, really strong, successful, and a handler comes along, and next thing you know, their accounts are emptied and they're forced to rely on the handler for everything that they need. And when it comes to strong and successful women, there are a wealth of people, both male and female, who are just waiting to take you down a peg. And that is the dilemma that I'm facing as well. I'm working really hard on self-development, and I'm working really hard on getting my life to a certain level in terms of my weight as well, in terms of my wealth, in terms of my internal self-esteem and my psychological processes, in the midst of being tortured and in the midst of everything that the torture brings. I'm working really hard on my own self-development and in getting my life where it wants to be. But as a TI, it puts you in a really unique position. If I get a certain amount of wealth and I get a certain amount of prestige, then it's only a matter of time before the sharks smell blood. Now look at Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya is not even known as a TI. And I have to say allegedly in front of it, allegedly, but man's already got a handler. Man's already got a handler. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, for me, I might attract somebody like that. I might attract somebody who comes into my life, like, isolates everybody from me. Do you understand what I mean? And then takes complete control over all my affairs. I am not trying to have that. And then I have to think about, what if I reach a certain level of success and I don't know. Look at Britney. Look at Amanda Bynes. There are way more people who are self-interested than self-sacrificing. And I never underestimate that. I understand that being successful, it comes with its own pitfalls, and there are certain sacrifices that might have to be made. And the only thing that I can do is prepare for them. So, yeah, rather unique position. I just don't want to hurt myself anymore, I think I'm going to talk about that in another video on my other channel, but yeah, it ultimately comes down to me not wanting to hurt myself. Just because other people are hurting me Doesn't mean I want to hurt myself. Not anymore. But anyway, what else am I going to say? Yeah, so so I don't want to be a pity case all my life, but seems like me being a pity case sells. I might have to look into that. But I don't know if I want to, again, I don't want to hurt myself deliberately. Like, if I get tortured, fine. But I just don't want to do it to myself anymore. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. Have a great morning, my fellow TIs. This life is not easy, but it's life. Enjoy it. Take care. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye. Oh, hang on. I got it.